Alright guys, thought I would do this cute little panda. He only takes 20 minutes. He's super easy, not a lot of fine detailing, so it's a great project for beginners. Here I'm just sketching out the panda. That's the branch that he is going to be sitting on. I've cleaned my rock really well and dried it, and I'm just using a regular number 2 pencil, I think. So just whatever you have on hand. And sketching out his little head now. Panda bears' heads are pretty circular, so I want it to look like he's laying against the branch, so that's why part of his face is obstructed by the branch. And I'm going to sketch in these ears. Just filling in the base of the ears there, where I'm going to put the fur. And now I'm starting on the panda's back. I thought about speeding this up, but I thought it was important to show you guys, just how I sketch it out. For some of you guys, a panda would be super easy to sketch out, and for others, it may take a little bit of time. So it only took about, 4 minutes or so to sketch out the panda, so I thought it was worth showing it. Here I'm just sketching in his paw. And I'm going to erase the branch there. And if you're going to erase on a rock, you want to use a white eraser if you have one. If you don't, they're really cheap. You can find them at the dollar store or at your local art supply shop. But the red erasers and like black erasers, they'll leave streaks often. So it's better to use a white eraser. I'm just finishing sketching in the other paw and that back leg, and now I am adding in his tail. And I am now going to sketch in his eyes. Moving on to his nose now. They've got the typical triangular nose. And here I didn't like the shape of the eye. I wanted it a little more downturned. So I just erased and I'm kind of resketching it out to get the shape that I was wanting. And I had originally thought that I would hide his leg, but now I thought that I would extend that leg out and let him be a super lazy panda, letting all those legs hang over the branch. And now I'm just going to add in some vines that I'll be putting some leaves and flowers off of. You can put these in wherever you want. I wanted most of them to be kind of behind him, with 1 or 2 that kind of went in front of him. Alright, I'm going to start painting now. I'm just putting in black. This is with a fine line brush, and you really don't have to be precise. I mean, this really is, I'm using the tip of the brush to kind of make uneven strokes along the top of his back because I want it to look like fur. So you don't want a straight edge. You want it to look like fur along all those edges. And the way that I did that was to just kind of tap with the brush in the way that you can see in the video there. And I'm going all around the borders of where the black fur is on the panda. Now I'm just filling it in, and you don't have to be precise with filling it in, you know, it's just literally filling it in. The only part that I was kind of precise on is the edges. I'm going to be moving on to his back leg now. And using the same technique, you just want to go along all the edges of his leg and create a bumpy border that will mimic fur. One of the reasons I loved painting this panda is because it wasn't like a super detailed painting, so it didn't take like a lot of concentration. You could just have more fun with it. It's just kind of nice, you know, you weren't worried about messing up. So this was a fun one to paint, and went really quickly. Finishing up that leg there. Moving on now to that front paw. And I'm going to leave a little bit of the rock behind where the two paws meet together, just to give a little bit of separation so it doesn't look like he has one giant paw. See, just a tiny edge there. And moving on to the ears now. Same thing, just make sure you're keeping those borders fluffy. And on his ear there, I'm leaving that little tiny background of the rock so that you can see where the separation is of his back and his ear. Grabbing my white paint now, and we're going to start in on the panda bear's head. When you're going around his eye, just make sure you don't have to do the fluffy technique around his eye, and you can just kind of go around it like normal, just around the shape that you created. When we go in with the black in a little bit for his eyes, they'll be a little fluffy. Here along the edge of the panda bear's face, this is where the white meets the black. You want to make sure your white fluffy parts are against his fur there, so you want the head to appear like it's sticking out in front of that black leg. That's why you didn't do the fluffy part of the black before, and now with the white you're doing the fluffy part on top of the black, if that makes sense. It brings the panda bear head forward. I'm going to move on now to the tummy of the panda bear. Along that log there, keep that a straight edge. And then you know the drill, all along the borders, you want it to be that bumpy edge. By the way, I'm using the same paintbrush for this entire painting. I'm just rinsing it off whenever I switch between the colors. This is like a really cheap paintbrush. I think I got it it was in a pack at Walmart. It's like one of those multi-packs. Gets the job done. When we move on to the tail here, you want to do the same thing that you did with the leg and the ear, where you leave just like a hairline of the rock, just so that your eye can tell that that's his tail. Just give a little bit of definition because we are not going to outline the panda bear, so we're using the rock as the outline. Going in with some more black now, I'm going to fill in his eyes. That's another great thing about painting panda bears is their eyes are a lot easier to paint, especially from a distance. You don't have to show as much detail because of the black fur around their eyes. If you don't know or if you're having a hard time picturing what a panda bear would look like, I just got online and looked up panda bears. Just Google panda bears, look at the images, and just kind of see their general characteristics and different positions that they're laying in, and you can kind of get an idea from there of how to paint whatever panda bear you're wanting to paint. Maybe you want one that's, different colors or a different position. You could still use these same techniques to paint that panda bear, not polar bear. Alright, now we're going to go into painting the branch. I've just got my burnt umber color here, just a dark brown. I'm going to paint the entirety of the log. Try to get as straight as you can by the panda bear's face and by his belly, because you want to look, you want it to look like the branches in front of the panda bear's face, or kind of, the panda bear's head is on top of it, I guess. And I'm getting some black now, and I'm going to, while the brown paint is still wet, I'm going to add some black in underneath the log. So kind of visually cut the branch in half and fill in with black, mixing with the brown about halfway up the branch. And that's going to create a shadow, which just makes the branch look a little more three-dimensional. You can, if you don't want to use a black, you can also do that with like a darker brown or with lighter browns, like a lighter brown on the top of the branch if you want to show definition that way. The way that I painted it was thinking that the bottom of the branch is where the shadow would be. So if you wanted the light to be shining from the top, you could add some lighter brown to the top of the branch and it would give the same effect. Starting the vines now, and I'm going in with that same burnt umber, but I'm watering it down. If you all haven't seen the video I made on how I fine line, then go check that out. That's the technique that I'm using. But basically, you load your brush with water, and I just dab it. After I've soaked it in water, I dab it off on just a paper towel, and then I dip it in my paint, and then I smush it around in the paint to get it really loaded up, and then I twist my brush so that there's a really fine point made by the bristles, and then I'll trace the lines for the vines. These leaves here, I'm just dipping into my green here, and I start where the point is of the leaf. I start with the tip of the brush, and then as I slowly move the brush down, I'm pushing down harder on the brush to kind of fatten that area up. And I'm just kind of putting these in wherever. You can put them in various places too. I thought about doing a traditional kind of bamboo with the Panda Bear, but I don't know, I thought these were fun. This is what I came up with. I'm just going to continue doing the same process until you're happy with how many leaves you have. I put some over top of the panda and obviously all around him. You can put them wherever you like, and just do as many as you like or as few, whatever looks good to you. Now I'm going to go in with some yellow paint, and I'm just going to go on top of the, oh no, it's not yellow, it's the dark green. I'm sorry. So the dark green is next. So I'm using the same technique that I did before, but with a darker green paint, just to add more variation in the leaves. And again, I'm just putting these kind of wherever I want. I'm doing some on top of the lighter green leaves and some just by themselves. Continue doing this. I will also, after this dark green, I'll go in with yellow and do the same technique, just adding layers into the leaves. time to make the little eyeballs on the panda bear. So I'm just using that same brush, and I'm just making sure I'm dipping it in the paint so that it just makes a little ball of paint on the end, and dabbing it into the black parts of his eyes. And here I didn't sketch this in, but I'm adding in his fourth leg. So same concept, you know, you want to leave that little space in between the two legs to show the separation. I'm going to add in some pink flowers now. I'm just dipping into my pink and kind of throwing in some like little star shapes. And I'm just, again, throwing them in kind of wherever I want. Just thought it needed a little color. And finally, on top of the pink flowers that I just did, I'm adding in some white, just again for another layer of color, just to give the eye something else to look at. And that's it, guys, for this quick little panda. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you guys paint any, I would love to see what you all come up with. You guys can follow me on my Instagram and post your pictures there and tag me in them. Thanks for watching, guys.